Hi, everybody. I'm Gus Lycus, and it still blows my mind that this guy's name is Storm. That's pretty cool. It's like the comic book character. Anyway, so when I hear this theme was old school, I always think of those people that are like, oh, I'm born in the wrong decade, that say they're like, oh, I should be born in the 50s, like I want to wear a fedora and a trench coat, or like, oh, I'm born in the 60s when people listen to good music. Nah, screw that. Anyone that was born in another decade, like old school, you didn't have the internet, not the same. For me, I guess I should start with something I live by. It's a cadet should not lie, cheat, steal, or nor tolerate those who do. It's the honor code of New Mexico Military Institute, my alma mater. Unanimously adopted by the Corps Cadets in 1921. It's something they made us learn on the first day there. Now, keep in mind, when I matriculated there, I was 12 years old, about that high maybe, and bald. They shave your head as the first part of it. It was a scary time, but I was so stoked. I can't explain like how excited I was to be part of this whole institution, and it was in my hometown, which I guess is part of this whole thing. I was born in Roswell, New Mexico. If you know it, it's the conspiracy capital of the world. It's freaking ridiculous. And the more I hear people talk about aliens and the supposed UFO incident that supposedly UFOs landed there in 1947 or something, the more I know it's not real. And the more I know people need to believe it. I don't even question people when they ask me about it. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I've seen UFOs. Because I think people need to believe in something a little bit bigger themselves. And it's hard for people to kind of break that echo. For me and a lot of people that I really care about, it was tradition. Now, my favorite character in all of popular fiction or popular culture is the character Rick from Rick and Morty. I don't know if any of you guys see him, but he says scientifically traditions are an idiot thing, which is funny because I feel like they've really done me a disservice. I mean, I came into the Institute at 12 years old, bald, little, scrawny kid. Hadn't really hit puberty yet. I was just like, every day as a rat, they called you, a recruit at training, as it were. I was hazed, bullied. I was shit kicked out of me all the time. I was told that only the tough make it, that you should just drop out, these kind of things. And my first 3 weeks, they were hard. Even though my brother was there, he wasn't allowed to talk to me because I was a rat, and that was fraternization. The worst part about it is I was about 7 minutes from my house. It was in the same hometown, boarding campus. And so I knew it, that my mom and my dog and my beautiful cat that I still love to this day was just maybe a short run away. But I stayed because I love the tradition. I thought that every time someone kicked my ass or they did these saber swat things where you would stand and you'd have another person, one of your rat buddies as it were, and they would bend a saber, like a military saber, around this kid's ass so it would slap yours and cut you. Called a saber swat. So we go, what swat? And every time people would cry out, but I was kind of fueled by it. I was like, I know that anytime this happens to me, I'm part of a bigger tradition, a shared history of pain, as it were, that I was related back to those guys in 1921. They were so honorable. They unanimously, which is still ridiculous, but said that they wouldn't lie, they wouldn't cheat, they wouldn't steal. And as I go through the world, I like to think that of people. I like to think people have a similar kind of tradition. Anyway, once I graduated, I got higher up in the ranks, and I came into the same tradition. I'd haze kids too. I made this one kid cook quesadillas for me all the time after school, after my soccer practice on an iron because we weren't supposed to have it. But he loved it. He was like, oh, every day down to make me my little iron quesadilla. And he was so stoked. I was a master sergeant, so he's like, oh, Master Sergeant Lycus, I got you the quesadilla. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Okay. But as I graduated, I was from this cool environment, this unique thing, and I had enough grades to go to a top school out east and kind of get away from that one little location. I was so excited. I was pumped. And I was interesting enough there, I guess, from this whole kind of tradition that I got into a fraternity. And it felt a little bit more safe, a little bit more homely, because it was all guys, and that's really where I grew up in. I mean, I had 3 brothers. I went to a military school. I wasn't quite ready to be dropped into a school with half girls and half guys, I mean. But the funny thing about it is that I really brought that tradition, this hazing, this, I thought, shared history of pain, this tradition to it. And I really dug into it. I mean, I had the shit kicked out of me there too, but if you think a 20-year-old frat star is scary, you should try a drill sergeant. It's not the same thing, man. But as I got into it and I did all these things, I bonded with my pledge brothers. I really bought into it. My freshman year, I was so excited to come back. The next year, I was a full brother. They couldn't tell me anything. I was one of them, man. I was like really part of it. And that's what I cared about. And that still shocks me to this day, because as I put everything else in the back of my mind, as I didn't think about my major, as I didn't think about the tradition of excellence I came from. I mean, I was jealous of my older brother because he shared the name as William George Lycus III, or Trip as we sometimes called him, of my dad and his grandpa before him, or my grandpa before him. I was so jealous I couldn't be that much closer to my family because I was so proud of it. And that same kind of tradition, that kind of thinking has been instilled in me so long, so that when I was in this fraternity, when I was in these people that were all about these morals and things they taught about it, I really bought in. I drank the punch, as it was. And when it came for time for the new class to be inducted, the new group of little guys, I bought into it. I became the new member educator, as it were, which is essentially a polite way of saying hazer or head asshole. I brought these kids out for all kinds of challenges. I thought about it all the time. I thought, okay, this week we're going to have you guys sort Skittles under strobe lights so you can't really tell the colors. And like that kind of stuff, that's a little bit more safe, but a lot of it all built up into bigger things and things that weren't as cool and things that I'm really ashamed of now. Specifically, one thing that I really think about a lot is the walk, as we called it. We take kids, all the new pledges, even people that aren't officially part of it yet. We take them out early in the morning one day, one weekend, as it were. And we tell them that they'd be busy all weekend, not to plan anything else, didn't tell them anything about it. We blindfold them. We take them out in a car one day. We drop them off in the woods, this place, Percy Priest. And we keep them the blindfolds all the way. We leave them there. We take off their blindfolds in the middle of the woods, and we take away their phones and say, okay, find your guys' way home. And the first time I did it, it was pretty fine. People were excited for it. They were kind of bought into the same idea. They were like, oh, this tradition, this old school thing people have done before me, it's going to pay off for me too. I want to be part of this. I want to do this. People will do it too. But they made it back. The second time I took people, though, I know one of the kids I personally brought into it. I talked to him. He was from New Mexico too. We go there and I blindfolded. It's early in the morning, so I didn't really pay attention to what people were doing. But we brought this kid, and we took off his blindfold. And instantly, as he looks around his surroundings at these trees, it was the sunrise off in the east that he's really never seen because it's a brand new place. Most people hadn't gotten to that part of like the surrounding area by then. He starts bawling. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to communicate to him all that I had thought of before, all this shared history of pain, making you a stronger person, all this thoughts that I had. But in this time, he's just bawling. He's like, please don't leave me. Please don't leave me, bawling to me. And he's like, I want to be a part of you guys. I want to belong. I want to be in this family, but not like this. Not if you guys are like this. Not if you guys will just leave me here again. I've been left too many times. And seeing him cry like that, seeing this person, he was a big guy. He's probably like this big, 6'3", way more muscular than I am, honestly. But seeing him break to this lower form, I broke. I realized that all the faith I had put in these kind of institutions, this tradition, as it were, it's not about what the tradition is. It's about the people you're there with. It's about being accepted into a better community. And I realized, why do I have to be cruel to them? Why would my grandpa or my dad or my older brothers that I care about so much and I revere, would they want me to be this kind of cruel? Would they want me to leave this kid bawling and say, make your own way home? And it made me realize all the other stuff I'm doing. I wasn't following this honor code I thought of so highly. I was lying to myself. By doing all this stuff, by thinking so much about this organization, I realized I hadn't been thinking about me. I hadn't been putting my classes at all forward. I hadn't been thinking about anything else I do. I didn't have friends outside of this group. I was all or nothing for this organization. I bought in so hard. And in that moment, it all just came crashing down on me. The fact that I didn't have a regular college experience. The fact that I didn't really give a shit about anyone else in the fraternity. And they didn't really give a shit about me in the same way that my friends at the Institute did, because they had no one else. It was the Institute or nothing for there. But in college, it's different. And I just came to what was easy. So when I realized that, I took him home. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take you back with me. And all the other kids were pissed. They're like, what? There's no way you can make it. All the other people were like, you can't believe you broke our tradition. I can't believe you said no to these things that you did. I can't believe you let him wuss out. I'm like, I can't believe you helped me make this happen. I can't believe you helped me do this to all these other people. And so I tried to stop lying to myself. I said, these people don't care about you. They don't care about your grades. They don't care about what you want to be in the future. They care about right now and having people that are obedient enough to help plan the next party. It's a toxic mindset, and only once you can kind of get outside that, you realize how ridiculous you were there in the first place. And so I told them, I'm like, if you guys want to do this, like, this is how I really feel, and if you don't accept that, I can't do this anymore. And they voted unanimously to kick me out. It made me think of this tradition of the cadets that didn't want to lie, cheat, or steal in the 20s, and like, I don't know, fuck tradition.